your presence, we would like to launch one of our initiative, that IndiGlobal Media Network, in association with EV Masterclass, with Mr. YSR Rajiv as the chief mentor. We are glad to launch this, the IndiGlobal Masterclass. Thank you. So this is the launch. I would request Rajiv YSR to briefly tell us about the the IndiGlobal EV Masterclass. How people can avail the learnings and benefits for their life skill.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much. First of all, sir, sorry, even at the cost of being repetitive, I cannot stop but thanking you for really, I mean, your narration, right? Either on the screen or off the screen is so brilliant. You brought the entire thing to us. You actually took us to the Chicago speech, right? To the opening remarks of Sri Swami Vivekananda, and it was very, very nostalgic, and I feel right the hair-raising experience. Thank you very much. And as Sudhir all rightly mentioned, your voice is very infectious. It kind of alarms anyone who would listen. No wonder, the army, probably the stint at the army kind of trained that voice to be so bold. Thank you very much for being here with us, sir, and thank you for encouraging the other youth icons, including me. Very, very privileged, right? So another and Sudhir, what an initiative it is, Sudhir and team, the Indie Global Network. I think I'm now reminded of again another great legend statement. I will let the audience guess who that legend would be, right? My work might be a small drop in the ocean, but that ocean will be lessened because of that missing drop. Would anybody like to guess and put it in the comment box? Please do so. I will reveal the name towards the end. Now, the reason why I made this statement is I know those are bold statements which I made, that 50 million jobs would be created by 2030, and at least 10 million probably contribution should be through EV Masterclass. Yes, it is bold. Yes, it is ambitious. Yet is yes, it is challenging and it looks scary. But what's the fun of having goals if they do not scare you, right? So that's how I've taken this, and that's how the rest of the mentors at the EV Masterclass have taken it. And when the same vision was shared with Sudhir, he said, "This is a brilliant initiative, and this needs to be taken to the masses." That is how Sudhir I brought this Indie Global EV Masterclass. Now, what is the expectation of this EV Masterclass? Why this EV Masterclass has started? I already kind of covered in the beginning, right? If at all you look at in the year 2020, the number of unicorns in India were only 8. Okay. And in the year 2021, when the pandemic really hit us the bad, especially through Delta variant, you know how many unicorns? Again, unicorn is $1 billion valuation, right? There are roughly 7,500 crores. You know how many unicorns? Of 42 unicorns. And the report says there are 130 plus unicorns that are in the pipeline, which would soon be hitting the news. So, gone are the days when parents used to encourage do whatever but get a government job. Gone are the days when parents encouraged in the generation later that do whatever but get a good, expensive, I mean, very remunerative MNC job, if possible, a software job or go to US. Gone are the days where students are now are trying to get in a job into startups. These are the days where you got to be a startup creator or an entrepreneur. Gone are the days when you seek for employment, but these are the days when you provide employment, right? And if at all that can happen, it can undoubtedly happen in the EV industry. Why? Just to call out certain things, right? Maruti Suzuki has announced 50,000 crores. Tata Motors has announced 7,500 crores. Hyundai Motors has announced 4,000 crores. And these announcements continue to happen. While this happen, the major, I would say, OEMs, be it General Motors, be it Volvo, right? Be it Hyundai, they already made proclamations that by 2030, we will not produce a single diesel or petrol car. It would only be electric car. Why? Because let me tell you something. It is not a great, I mean, the logic is very simple. We are now heading towards a particular point called a 3 degrees centigrade change. Thanks to all the, I would say, the industrial revolution, right? Not to blame, because of which we are here, but it has its own side effects. Now, what does this 3 degree centigrade change? This is an irreversible phenomena. You cannot do anything to bring it back. That means this is change in the Earth's average temperature by 3 degrees. You might wonder, 3 degrees change? Big deal. It is a big deal. Why? Close to 50% of the world's population in the next 100 years, if not acted now, would be submerged. And this is not a child's, and this is not a joke. In fact, if at all there is anything where the governments, the stakeholders of OEMs, and the NGOs, and people like you and me are fighting together, it's not terrorism, it's not poverty, it's not hunger, it's the climate change. No wonder why there was such a huge, I would say, scope and huge aura around the COP26 that has happened, where Sri Narendra Modi ji mentioned that by 2070, India would be a net zero emissions, because India is leading the world in many things and also in pollution. And if India as a nation was able to make that stand, that's a call for action for the rest of the world to get into the action and then ensure that we leave a sustainable, I would say, environment for our generations to flourish and to thrive and to prosper. Now, I think this is one major cause why it is beyond doubt that EVs are going to be the future, not just in India, but across the world, right? Now, what is the use of this EV masterclass? I mean, how can people benefit from this EV masterclass? As I told you, the biggest threat for EV industry at this point of time is relevant talent pool, because not many people are trying to solve this problem, and that is where I have intended to solve this problem. So the future, the transition to EVs is inevitable and irreversible phenomena. The availability of relevant manpower continues to be a hurdle, and that's where EV Masterclass comes into picture. Now, how would this add value? Number one, the outcomes assured are everybody, whether it is, I mean, the way the whole course or the cohort structured is such a way that anybody with an eighth class physics knowledge can understand. In fact, we start with what is length, what is distance, what is mass, what is acceleration, and hence what is force, what is energy, what is power. That is how we build the basics. So if somebody might say, hey, you know what, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an MBA grad, I'm not a technology guy, but how can I benefit from EV Masterclass? Don't worry, because EVs need not just engineers but many to contribute and take the revolution forward, right? So that is the, I would say, assumptions with which it was built. And the way the whole cohort was built is the pedagogy is a very, very engaged pedagogy, where we talk about the regular ICE vehicles, and on one hand we talk about the ICE vehicles, we compare ICE and EV and then tell them so that they can understand it very easily. Not just the technology aspect of it, we also talk about evolution of technology, how it has evolved over the decades and over the years. And then there are continuous interactions with the mentors. You know who are the mentors? The mentors of EV Masterclass are the CXOs of the industry who have been taking this revolution, fighting from the forefront, policymakers, think tanks, right? So all of them are the mentors. And then there are regular interactions with these think tanks. Some of them to name are Ms. Sulaja Firodia, founder CEO of Kinetic Green, Mr. Venkataraja Raman, founder CEO of Signi Energy, Mr. Kartikeya Haryani, founder CEO of ChargeZone, Mr. Gopalakrishnan VC, who is the automotive director, Government of Telangana, Mr. Polash Das, electric vehicle business head from CESL, Government of India, Mr. J. A. Chaudhary Garu, who was the formal, I would say, advisor to the Government of Andhra Pradesh, right, to the ranks of Chief Secretary, and Mr. Dr. M. Venkateshwar Garu, who is the current Chief Postmaster General for the Government of Andhra Pradesh, right? And then we have Samhita Rani, who is the principal consultant at the Rocky Mountain Institute, who works very closely with Niti Aayog. So these are the kind of, I would say, mentors that we have. The only intent is to equip, to groom, and to encourage youngsters, students, professionals, and entrepreneurs to consider EV as their career as well as their entrepreneurial opportunity. What is, and right, in during this particular course, not only that these are, I would say, these knowledge and outcomes are assured, but then the cohort also helps in constantly mentoring you and constantly giving you the support, whether it is in terms of the entrepreneurship or it is in terms of the job opportunities.
Yeah.
There are all that. Yeah. So with this, let me hand this over to my good friend Sudhir, I think he has got some great news for all the people who are watching now. And yes, Sudhir, please take over.
So with this, as Raju mentioned, the kind of skilled workforce that is needed and the knowledge with the booming EV industry, uh, we you the audience and those who are keen on getting into the EV industry can connect and know and be a fully skilled workforce. EV Masterclass also ensures the placement and the kind of job opportunities besides being the own entrepreneurs in the EV industry. So do join us down below. There are our contact details, and with this we'll take it further, and we shall connect and connect back with you. So with this, we will come to an end. Thank you very much, Ashok sir, for launching and being present.